Hey there, and welcome to today's Explainer. We've got a really fascinating connection to explore right now. We're going to take a deep dive into the foundations of linear equations in math. But, and here's the twist, we're also going to connect them to a much bigger idea, moral truth. Now, I know that sounds like a massive leap, but honestly, both of these concepts are deeply, deeply connected by one foundational idea, and that is the concept of balance. So if you've ever felt like math is just a bunch of random rules to memorize, well, get ready. Today we're going to see how it perfectly mirrors the logic of life itself.
To set the stage, there's this great line from Proverbs chapter 11, verse 1. It says, "A false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight." That right there beautifully establishes our entire theme today. God delights in balance and truth. You see, a just weight implies fairness, accuracy, and equal treatment. And as we're going to see, this beautiful divine desire for balance is literally the exact same rule we have to follow to solve algebraic equations. You really can't cheat the scales in life, and you definitely can't cheat them in math.
Real quick, here's a roadmap for our explainer so you know exactly what to expect. We'll kick things off with the power of balance, then move into building your math vocabulary. Next up is using the undo button, followed by solving two-step equations. After that, it's time to practice before we wrap the whole thing up with a look at being smart, moral, and peaceful. Let's jump right in. Section 1, the power of balance, why equations matter. Okay, so think of a linear equation kind of like a set of old-school balancing scales. Whatever you do to one side, you absolutely must do to the other to keep it level. And mastering this balance, it isn't just about passing a math test. It's really about solving everyday puzzles. Think about it. Whether you're figuring out the exact change you're owed at the grocery store, trying to plan a budget so you can finally save up for something awesome, or calculating complex stats for a science lab or your favorite sports team, equations are the tool you're using. Mastering this concept basically prepares you to handle the curveballs life throws at you with total confidence. Moving right along to Section 2, building your math vocabulary, the tool belt. Before we actually start building and solving these equations, we kind of need to define our tools. So, our first tool is the variable. This is simply a letter that stands in for an unknown number. Usually, you'll see it as the letter X. You can think of the variable as the ultimate puzzle piece. It's the mystery. It's that hidden treasure we're trying to find on the map. All right, next tool up for our equation building is the constant. And a constant is exactly what it sounds like. It's a number that doesn't change. It is constantly the same. A 7 is literally always a 7. A 13 is always a 13. It's the steady, reliable, unchanging part of our math sentence. And finally, we have the coefficient. This is a number that is multiplied by a variable. So if you're looking at something like 2x, that 2 right there is the coefficient. It's the number securely attached to our mystery letter, telling us exactly how many of those variables we're dealing with. So we've got the variable, the constant, and the coefficient. Bam, your tool belt is officially fully loaded. Let's put those tools to work. Section 3, using the undo button, inverse operations. The entire goal of solving an equation is to isolate the variable. We want to get that x all by its lonesome on one side of the equal sign. And we do this using inverse operations, which are basically our mathematical undo buttons. Operations always come in opposite pairs. The opposite, or inverse, of addition is subtraction, and you guessed it, the opposite of multiplication is division. So if you want to undo an addition problem, you just subtract. If you want to undo a multiplication problem, you divide. These little undo steps are the secret sauce for isolating that variable so you can find its true value. Let's actually see this in action with a really quick one-step equation. Say we have x plus 7 equals 13. We need x alone, but right now there's this plus 7 in the way. So what do? We hit our undo button. The inverse of adding 7 is subtracting 7. But, and this is huge, remember the rule of the balanced scale. Whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So we subtract 7 from both sides. X plus 7 minus 7 leaves us with just x. And 13 minus 7 gives us 6. Our answer is x equals 6. Perfectly, beautifully balanced. Let's try one more. Here we've got x divided by 4 equals 9. To isolate x, we need to undo that division. Well, the inverse of dividing by 4 is multiplying by 4. So we multiply both sides by 4 to make sure that scale stays totally level. 4 times x divided by 4 leaves just x, and 9 times 4 is 36. So x equals 36. See how logically that flows when you use the exact right tool for the job?
All right, time to push ourselves a bit. Section 4, Solving Two-Step Equations, Leveling Up.
Now we're going to tackle equations that require a little more than one action. But don't worry, the rule of balance still applies perfectly here. We are just taking it one step at a time. The trick is simply breaking the problem down. Take a look at this equation. 2x plus 5 equals 17. Again, we want x by itself. So, step 1, let's get rid of the constant hanging out on the left side. We subtract 5 from both sides. 2x plus 5 minus 5 is just 2x. 17 minus 5 is 12. Okay, so now our new, simpler equation is 2x equals 12. Moving to step 2, we need to pry that coefficient 2 away from the variable x. Since they're multiplied together, we use the inverse, which is division. Divide both sides by 2. 2x divided by 2 is x. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Boom! X equals 6. We literally just used the undo button twice, kept it clean, kept it fair, and kept total balance.
Now it's your turn. Section 5, Time to Practice. Your mission.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to actually pause this explainer right here. Grab a scrap of paper and use your inverse operations, those handy undo buttons, to solve these 5 practice problems. Just remember to spot your variables, your constants, and your coefficients first. And above all else, absolutely remember to do to one side exactly what you do to the other. Keep that scale balanced. Go ahead, hit pause, give these a try, and come right back here when you're done. All right, welcome back. Hopefully those went well for you. Let's head into our final section. Section 6, Smart, Moral, and Peaceful, the ultimate equation. We've spent a lot of time today zooming way in on variables and coefficients, but let's zoom out for a second to the broader philosophy of life. The source material makes this really profound point. Education without morality will hurt. Just think about that. What is the actual point of being incredibly smart, of knowing how to solve the absolute most complex algebra, if you take that intelligence and use it to make choices that hurt yourself or hurt the people around you? Having book smarts without any kind of spiritual mindfulness, well, it tends to lead to painful choices. It's basically an unbalanced equation. You've stacked all the mental weight on one side and left zero moral weight on the other. Eventually, that scale is going to tip over and crash. And that brings us perfectly full circle back to the source material, specifically this promise from Romans. It says, Romans 8:6-7 promises peace of mind to everyone who keeps his or her mind spiritual. Just like a perfectly balanced mathematical equation gives you that really clear, correct, totally satisfying answer at the end, a spiritually balanced mind gives you peace. Mathematical balance and spiritual balance, they honestly complement each other perfectly. They are both about finding that exact, just weight that God delights in. So, I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative thought. You now know exactly how to balance a linear equation on paper. You've got the tools, you've mastered the vocabulary, you know exactly how to use the undo button. But how are you going to balance your choices today? How will you make sure that your education is matched equally by your morality? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer today. Keep learning, keep balancing those equations, and I'll see you next time.